Well, honey, it's official. We made it to June.
It is June, and let me tell you, we're not far off. I mean, something arduous and exhausting, and it's going to take a long time to get through. There's going to be a lot of waiting around. I got to say, I might be replaying Sonic 06 soon.
Oh, really?
Is that not what you're talking about?
That sounds really laborious.
Oh, laborious is right. What a labour. Soon. We're having a baby soon. That's what we meant.
The Gaming Lovers Podcast with Brendo and Jem.
G'day and welcome to episode 109 of the Gaming Lovers Podcast. I'm Jem.
I'm Brendo, the resident Sonic addict. And of course, today is the day before we recorded this. Normally we get recording done as soon as we start the day. It's the first thing on our to-do list on our recording days. But today, Sonic the Hedgehog movie released on DVD and Blu-ray here in Australia, and we've already bought it and watched all the special features. So I am on a little bit of a Sonic kick again, more so than average.
It's officially June, which is our due month. A baby is due this month.
Yes.
A baby is due this month. We're not freaking out at all.
I'm sure you will all understand if a week goes by and there is no new episode of the Gaming Lovers Podcast like clockwork. You may know why that happens, and we do ask for your grace and forgiveness of missing a deadline if that happens. But this week, the episode still launches as normal. Jem is a plump little nugget with a baby in the belly, but it is not too far off.
It's just because of all the nuggets I've been eating this pregnancy.
You have been eating nuggets.
Nuggets and milkshakes. Such a healthy diet. Coming up in this episode of the Gaming Lovers Podcast, we wanted to look at things to look forward to for this month.
Because it's E3 time. What? No?
No E3, sadly, but there are plenty of mini events to take its place.
It's the summer of gaming in Australia's winter. I'm so confused.
Plus, there are several games that we've been waiting for, some in particular for a very long time, that are coming out this month, hopefully. Touch wood.
No, it'll happen. It'll happen.
It better happen. I think fans are at that point now that if it gets delayed one more time, that, it would just not go down well. So all of that to look forward to in this episode of the Gaming Lovers Podcast. But before we get to that, it is time right now for Gaming Goals.
That was beautiful.
Oh,
I thought
you.
I'd just let you take that one because that was just a melody to my ears. Literally, it's what it was.
Okay. You can go first.
All right. It has been a slow week in Dark Souls 2 Scholar of the First Sin, if you want to get technical with the title. Dark Souls 2 has been my primary game recently, but this week has been full of lots of things that are not conducive to a solid sit-down, play a game for an hour and a half, 2 hours. Just hasn't worked out that way. So progress has been slow. I have done almost nothing in Dark Souls 2, so I'm very disappointed. But there has been one game that we did play this week, that we bought this week, and we played with friends, and that is What the Golf?
Yes.
What the Golf? And that was uttered several times during the gameplay.
I think my favorite aspect of this game, obviously, it's a bit of a putt-putt simulator, and there are just moments where you think you're moving a golf ball, but when you let it fly, you're sending a person flying or a house or the actual putter and little things like that that just caught me off guard at first, which made me chuckle. And the concept of it just gets progressively weirder and more warped and more amusing, and a lot of giggles to be had.
For sure. You never know what you're going to get. You start off, it's just mini golf.
Yeah.
Miniature golf. Miniature golf. That's all it is.
Just tap it in.
Just give it a little, you might have a zigzag in the course, a couple of rocks in the way, something simple. We have those experiences in real life. I once almost died being squished by a windmill at a miniature golf course because I thought, as a small child, every hole had its own little gimmick.
Yep.
And I tapped the ball, went through the little hole in the middle of the windmill, and the windmill's spinning around, and there was a gap that I calculated I could fit through.
Oh, no.
Calculated wrong. The windmill grabbed my face and dragged me off my feet, and I had a horrible abrasion on my cheek for weeks.
Oh, man.
So be careful playing mini golf. But if you're playing on the Nintendo Switch and you have What the Golf, you never know what you're going to get. Every course starts off. It could be normal golf. It could be side-on golf. Mm-hmm. It could be like a 2D platformer golf. And you just go, okay, I guess I'll aim, and here we go.
See what happens.
And it could be anything.
Space golf.
It could have no physics and the ball just bounces forever. It could be 18 balls all at once. It could be anything. You never know. And I love the absurdity and the unexpected nature of every single round of What the Golf.
Yes. And I love that it just lands you in a course and it does not explain what to do or what's different about it. You just have to experiment and figure it out for yourself.
It reminds me of the times that we have played WarioWare.
Yes.
Smooth moves, where you are literally just thrown into a thing. You have 5 seconds to figure out what you're supposed to do, how the controls work, and accomplish your goal. And What the Golf gives you that same sort of, I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yep.
I think this is what I'm supposed to be doing. No, that did the exact opposite of what I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that nature. Playing with the group as well, which we did with a couple of friends, was hilarious. Great time had with What the Golf. And I love the fact that each map, each level, has different challenges in it.
Yep.
There's 3 courses on each level. The standard issue, just get the ball to the goal. Or get whatever item, I suppose, you're putting to the goal. It's not always a ball.
No.
The second one might be to do it in a certain amount of strokes or with a different physics. And then there's like a crown difficulty where it's like we'll just completely twist the formula in some unseen way. And it is fantastic. Well worth the price that I paid for it. And it was not on sale. Always a risk. But we had friends coming over and I needed a new game to play with friends. I've set the standard too high.
I think you could get through it on your own pretty quickly in a couple of hours. But the fact that it does have different challenges, additional challenges, it does have that replayability. For us, because we were like passing the controller around from person to person and it turned into a shared experience, I think I got a bit more enjoyment out of that because we had fun laughing at each other's blunders or being shocked that someone got a hole-in-one in the most absurd way.
Yep.
So it was enjoyable. It was one that was fun to play and watch, which you don't always get.
My greatest accomplishment in that game was hitting a bouncy ball on a 2D course, and there's slopes and everything everywhere. So you hit the ball, it doesn't go where you want, it just keeps bouncing all over the place. Mm-hmm. And I just let it go for about 2 whole minutes. I'm like, no, wait, I've planned this out to perfection. And it just keeps bouncing back and forth between 2 spots. I'm like, no, give it some time. As you notice, it's slowly getting higher and higher. I'm like, it's going to do it. Trust me. I could have just restarted the map and probably done it in one shot again with like far less wasted time. But it was very entertaining when it finally struck the flag and accomplished the level.
Yep.
There was a burst of celebratory excitement in the room. Very good.
It's like watching, you remember those old DVD menus where it bounced on the screen and you'd be waiting for it to hit that corner? There's something weirdly satisfying about like waiting stupid amounts of time for something silly.
One of the best pointless scenes in The Office.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
So we had a great time with we didn't complete What the Golf.
No.
We could have. It's not a very long game, but we wanted to get through a couple of different party games. I adored the levels that are homages to other video games. Whether it be Mario Brothers.
Angry Birds.
Beautiful. I love it. And the surprises just kept coming with that game. 2 thumbs up. 2 golf clubs up for What the Golf. And I haven't even beaten it yet. So that shows you how much we enjoyed it. Or at least I enjoyed it. Conform to my standards.
Is that all for you this week?
Well, I also did play a little bit of a Game Boy Advance title.
Oh.
Because I like to stay current with my technology. Part of this ties into the fact that we are having a baby at any given moment.
Uh-huh.
It could happen while we're recording this. Who knows? If you hear a squelch, it's probably the baby popped out. But I have been packing some portable games because what I've heard from my sources is that the process of the baby actually arriving can take some time.
Possibly.
A little bit of time.
It depends. We just don't know.
Now, if I have to do anything arduous and kill time while doing so, if I'm going to the doctor's, for example, and I have to wait that arduous 20 minutes potentially,
20 minutes, so long.
I will most likely bring a handheld console of some sort, play something short-term, something that can keep my attention, and it doesn't feel like a waste of time.
Mm-hmm.
So when we're having a baby and it's going to take that long, you have already blessed me with permission to bring handheld gaming for both of us.
With that asterisk of if I tell you to put it down, you got to put it down.
Yep.
So it needs to be something that can be paused or
suspended. Not a problem. So I decided to kick out, speaking of my favourite blue hedgehog, Sonic Advance. On the Game Boy Advance, which I play on my original DS, which took me a long time to find the charge cable for, so it's been a long time coming. I've wanted to play Sonic Advance for quite a while. So I was playing that at a family get-together, and my nephew, who only knows Sonic the Hedgehog, if you say, who's that character, he says, that's your favourite. And that's all he knows. That's all he knows. So I was playing and he was happy to just sit on my lap and just watch me play. And it was just the perfect situation because I didn't have to sit and watch a child try to play a platforming game. Because that just makes you just go, oh, just let me help you. I'll just get you past this one. No, that's the hole. You've just fallen in the hole. Never mind. So he was enjoying watching me play that. I did a couple levels, but really it has not been a very busy gaming week for myself.
No.
Surprisingly, you have squeezed in quite a bit of gaming this week.
It's like that last little bit of a marathon run, or like get that last little burst before the finish line. I don't think I will finish the Outer Worlds before baby arrives. I feel like that's near impossible, but I have been enjoying playing that. I completed my goal from last week. I said I would finish this first planet, and I have. I am now on the Groundbreaker, which is kind of like this giant ship port that's neutral territory, I guess, for all these different planets and things that are controlled by other companies and factions. This place is a bit more, not lawless, but a bit more neutral. And I've picked up my third companion.
Oh, you have?
Yes, Ellie. So, yeah, I woke up at like 5 a.m. this morning.
That'll happen a bit, I'm pretty sure.
And could not get back to sleep. So I did you, and I was like, you know what, I will go play some video games. And that happened to me a couple of days ago too, but at the time I was not feeling great and had what they call Braxton Hicks contractions.
Are you having contractions?
Well,
it's actually happening right here. Live
not right
on the
now.
air. Oh, not now.
This
Okay.
is past tense.
Sorry.
Where it's basically my body practicing for the real thing. Stretching before the big game.
Oh, you don't want to get injured.
Anyways, so I think this was mid last week, and I just decided, you know what? I've got the Xbox 360 here in the bedroom. Let's just play a bit of Mass Effect, load an old save, play something familiar and comfortable. So if it ends up just kind of sitting there idle for a bit while I'm like uncomfortable, then it's okay. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it helped having something familiar and something that I know basically backwards to just be able to put on and play.
Don't have to think too hard.
Yeah.
Just play, just enjoy.
So I think that's going to be a good way to keep me distracted, at least in the early stages when the real deal starts. So making you nervous talking about it, aren't I? But yeah, I've been enjoying the Outer Worlds, and we'll see. I guess I'll try to figure out how much I feel like I could possibly get done this week. Everything has that little asterisk of pending baby. So at least I have a legitimate excuse to be...
there are no excuses. If you set a gaming goal, it is your responsibility as a podcaster to achieve that gaming goal.
Right.
I'll bring the Xbox to the birth unit.
Do they have TVs that can be hooked up to that?
Here's hoping.
Oh, dear. So, yeah, that's pretty much been my week of gaming. So I'm glad I got... Not only did I make my gaming goal, but I got past it.
Mm-hmm.
So, yay, gold star for me this week.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And that's pretty much it, I believe, for gaming goals. We'll be back after this break. We're going to be talking about the summer/winter/autumn/spring/fall of gaming that IGN have advertised, what reveals are going to be coming. We're going to have some speculations, and the release date is looming on a title that I have been itching to get to.
It's not another Sonic game, is it?
No.
Okay.
Itching.
You're listening to the Gaming Lovers Podcast. Want to join the conversation? Visit thegaminglovers.com. Record your comment or question by clicking on the button on the right-hand side. And you could be featured in the next podcast.
Sometimes when it comes to video games that are launching years and years away from when you want to play it, they sort of fall off your radar completely. I mean, for me personally. And considering that The Last of Us is one of my all-time favourite games, I have had some great experiences, not just on my first ever playthrough, but cooperative-esque playthroughs, passing the controller back and forth with my good buddy the Falcon, trying to beat and achieving the beating of grounded difficulty in that game was an absolute blast and frustrating.
That would have been a slog.
Oh, it was difficult, but we felt like champions when we beat it. And of course, I got The Last of Us when it came out on PS3. Straight away. Naughty Dog are making a game, I'm buying it. Simple as that. So then when I got my PS4, of course I bought The Last of Us remastered because I had to. And then The Last of Us 2 was so far away, it's just like, okay, just let me take my desires to play this game. I'll pop it in a box in the back of the shelf and we'll get to it eventually. Try not to think about it. And now, even with all of the delays, I had forgotten not only that we just stepped into June, but June is not only when our baby should be arriving, but it's also when Naughty Dog's new baby is arriving. The Last of Us Part 2 launches in like 2 weeks.
If only it had launched when it was supposed to, then you could have finished it by now.
It was originally slated to be the last big, amazing title that I was going to play and say, yes, okay, I can tick that box, it's done. I'm ready for fatherhood. I'm not ready for fatherhood yet because I have not played The Last of Us Part 2. It was on the to-do list. I'm sorry.
Well, maybe if baby comes really late in June, you can do a marathon thing, and then you'll be super exhausted for when baby's here. It's slated, at least in Australia, to launch on June 19th. So still a little whiles to go.
The internet has been a more dangerous place than usual because some scumbags decided to throw every major and minor spoiler there is out into the wilderness. And you never know when it's going to cross your path. So I have been like Ted Mosby in How I Met Your Mother with...
Avoiding like the Super Bowl spoilers.
I've been walking around with headphones on, blinders. I've been using...
Have you ever been driving trains like that?
No comment. I am paranoid about spoilers to begin with. So when there's something like this that I know I really do want to play, and I know there will be big spoilers, and I know that they're actually out there, potentially could cross my path at any moment, I've refused to even speak to my wife outside of this recording booth because I'm afraid that she'll say something that she saw and not even realise it.
I have not seen any spoilers. I have stayed away. Any thread that seems, even if it's a trailer with new footage, I've just avoided. I haven't watched anything because I know there's always going to be one troll that puts something, even if it seems innocuous or innocent, could end up being a really big spoiler.
And I think for the sake of integrity, I can never say That's it. I've bought my last game for now. Just going to focus on the backlog. No more games. No, not buying any more games because baby's here. Got to give it that baby money. No, it's never going to happen because games like The Last of Us Part 2 are going to come out and I'm going to want them. I'm going to want to play them straight away.
Yeah.
So it's going to happen, darling. I hope you realise that.
Something else that's coming out that like everyone has been really like itching for, I'm pretty sure, is SpongeBob. Battle for Bikini Bottom comes out like a couple of days after The Last of Us. So if you
the two heavy hitters for Game of the Year.
If you need something light and fluffy to go with your heavy meal that is The Last of Us 2, it might be that perfect fluffy, moussey dessert after having a really heavy steak and potatoes kind of meal. You know what I mean?
I thought SpongeBob would have been more of a cake.
A sponge cake. But there are lots of games coming out in this month of June, most of them on the Switch. A lot of games getting ported over, including The Outer Worlds.
Yes. So if you hadn't got around to playing it yet, you could have played it in the hospital because it would be portable.
But I do like getting achievements and trophies. So if I have the choice when it comes to that sort of gaming, I will choose the other consoles because Nintendo does not reward me for things like that. If they ever introduce their own system, though, then we in trouble. All right. So I'm just going to list off because there's a lot of titles that I haven't even heard of, but that are coming out this month. You might know them more than me. So if anything makes you go, oh, I know what that is, you just interrupt me, okay?
Okay.
Valorant on PC.
Valorant? I don't know. I've only ever seen that word written, never pronounced.
Valorant.
On PC.
Velour.
It's already out everywhere else. It's just coming to PC.
Yep. Liberated on the Switch. The Takeover on the Switch. Shantae and the Seven Sirens.
Shantae is great platforming action, by the way.
Aqualunges. Craftopia.
On PC?
51 Worldwide Games.
Give me that backgammon, baby.
Another expansion pack for The Sims Eco Lifestyle Pack out on PC.
Oh, that sounds highly thrilling. Eco Lifestyle Pack. Must play. Night
Squad comes out on the Switch the same day as The Outer Worlds, June 5th here in Australia. Potato. You say potato, I say potato. The Elder Scrolls Online, Greymore. So that's a fairly significant one coming up. Demon's Tier Plus, Switch and Vita.
The Vita!
The Vita is finally getting something. It's still alive. 1971 Project Helios on the Switch. Project Warlock. What is with all these things?
Too many projects. Too many projects.
Ancestors Legacy on the Switch. Evans Remains. Dun dun dun. Switch and PC. Desperados 3. Xbox PC. I guess that would be a Microsoft title then because they usually do both, don't they?
Games Pass.
Yeah. Disintegration. That comes out June 16th on PlayStation 4, Xbox and PC across the board. Edna and Harvey, the Breakout Anniversary Edition.
Edna and Harvey. Could you get two least exciting hero names than Edna and Harvey?
Edna Mode. If it was Edna Mode from The Incredibles, I don't know, that would be fun. And Harvey Dent. What a combination.
Oh, goodness me.
See,
okay, now I'm interested.
I just pitched a better game. Sorry, guys. Best Friend Forever, Switch and PC. This is a tricky one to pronounce. Is it Airy or Airy?
Airy, A-E-R-Y, all caps, on the Switch, June 18th.
Here's one that I would be excited for. Burnout Paradise Remastered, baby.
Take me down to the paradise.
Where you get to smash up cars and buses. I am obsessed with just trying to destroy buses in that game. That's all I do.
In that game.
In that game. Yes. I'm not stupid enough to try that in real life. Railway Empire Nintendo Switch Edition. It's actually in the title.
No, thank you. Enough trains for me.
Assetto Corsa Competizione.
Excuse me?
You try to say that.
Assetto Corsa Competizione.
Oh, well, you made that sound so much easier.
It's all in the confidence.
True. Ninjala. That's a fun word.
Ninjala.
I hope it's a ninja game.
I'm guessing it is.
I would assume so. See, so many games I've not heard of, and I feel like when I'm looking through these release lists, I'm like, how have I not heard of like 95% of this? It makes me ashamed.
A lot of them are indie titles, and unfortunately, a percentage of them are shovelware, most likely.
Like
and
this
not
one,
worth your time.
Poop Die, Chapter 1.
Excuse me?
Poop Die. It's legit.
Poop die.
It's spelt Poop Die, so that's how I'm saying it.
It's a terrible way to go. Don't forget Brigadine, the Legend of Runersia on the Nintendo Switch. And here's one you actually do know about.
Yes. Collar X Melis.
Did you end up getting that game on the Vita?
I can't remember.
One
Baby
of your
brain.
little female romancy games where you have handsome men to romance.
I know I've looked
and
at
you
it on
have
the
an
store.
explosive bomb collar on. Is that the one I'm thinking about?
I don't actually think I ever downloaded it because we always waited for like when they had those really big digital sales, and I would get maybe one at a time to limit myself to stop me from buying all these games, and then they would stay there and unplayed. So I don't think I have it. The Almost Gone on the Switch comes out the same day. Dragons 3 Complete Collection comes out PlayStation 4, Xbox, and PC on June 26th in Australia. And No Straight Roads comes out on everything right at the end of the month. One thing to note as well that is supposed to come out in June but may get pushed back because of this pandemic is...
The Last of Us Part 2. Who knows?
Don't you dare. Is the Pokemon Sword and Shield expansion pack, the Isle of Armor. It's due to come out. It doesn't actually have a set date, though, so that's a little worrying.
If they don't have a date yet, that is quite concerning.
Yeah. So there's some stuff to look forward to. Obviously, most people, I think, of looking forward to The Last of Us Part 2.
Yep. The
Or SpongeBob.
Or one of those two is the clear-cut favourite, obviously.
Clearly. You're in one camp or the other. Or maybe both. There's also plenty of gaming news to look forward to.
Oh, yes.
We're going to get to that right after this.
Share the love. Follow us on Twitter at Brendo Jem. That's BRENDOJEM.
PlayStation 5 knocking on our doorstep later this year, presumably still on track for a 2020 launch. We have seen the hardware, we have seen the controller, but everybody, and I mean everybody, who's interested in this console wants to know more about the games. And this week, coming up this week, is the PlayStation 4. No, PlayStation. It's on June 4. That's why I mucked up the number. The PlayStation 5, the Future of Gaming presentation, where they are going to be showing some of the games that will likely be launching at the birth. There's that word again. The birth of this new console.
Oh, dear. Hopefully they do a little better. Xbox kind of dropped the ball when we thought it was going to be their year and their generation of console. They looked to have the lead and then kind of fumbled a bit recently. So this now could be PlayStation's turn to go, oh, you thought we didn't have a game? Well, look at this.
We've got a little bit of a tortoise and a hare situation here where Sony has been radio silent about the PlayStation 5 for a long time.
Yeah.
Saying with every major press conference and gaming event, no, the PlayStation 5 won't be detailed here. No, don't worry about the PlayStation 5. To the point where Microsoft then took the lead in our excitement, showing off the Xbox Series X, showing off games that are launching exclusively on Xbox, but didn't actually explain the fact that they were launching exclusively on Xbox, taking a bit of a fumble, trying to run the race with their shoelaces tied together. But now the PlayStation 5 games reveals coming this week. I am excited because I love unknown game announcements. And there's going to be a lot of them this month.
Yes. Especially, I mean, obviously there's no E3 that they can all go to. Not that PlayStation was ever going to be there anyway. But but everything's kind of had to be done kind of in-house. I feel a little bad for a lot of the indie studios. It'd be a bit harder to get featured or people getting their hands on their games where they normally would. But that said, the gaming community enjoys getting good digital announcements, and if you do it well, it will get shared and could become a viral video, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
So it's not necessarily a bad thing to just be digital only. If you can put that effort in making a really polished, really great video with content that people are excited for.
That is the kicker.
Let's just underline that. Then it could go really, really well for a lot of businesses. So there are several events to add to your calendar. Now, I have the dates for Australian time. So for the US, it would basically be technically the day before. For us, a lot of these times are like 3 a.m. on June 7th. Woo!
Yeah, it's amazing how I think of E3 and like all the, you get like 6 to 8 press conferences all squeezed into 3 days. This is spread out across the whole darn month. We're going to be very busy. I mean, I hope we don't have anything that's going to eat up much of our time this month.
You know what? It might benefit us. If baby does arrive, right, and we're awake at like the middle of the night, we can watch these live.
Perfect. It's all coming together.
You know what? Silver linings. Not that who knows when Bub's going to arrive, but at least we do know when these events are going to be on. So we've already had the Summer Game Fest, and for us it's Winter Games. But anyways, and that was organised by the Game Awards presenter, Jeff Keighley. But we've got a lot of indie ones on the calendar, which I feel like I want to emphasise because I want people to not neglect indie games. Indie games, especially last year, kicked some of the AAA titles' butts.
Absolutely.
So they deserve our attention. Things like Wholesome Direct Indie had it just at the end of May. So you can watch some of that content online right now if you missed it. Coming up very soon, Guerrilla Collective, multi-day showcase with indie and mid-sized studios. It's going to be hosted by the kind of funny co-founder Greg Miller.
Is he kind of funny? Or is that it's the company he
I think that's up to the individual to decide. So that's kind of coming up this weekend. For us, June 7th, 3 a.m. Woo! But June 6th, I believe it officially starts in the States.
If only there was some way to watch these things after the fact.
You can if you
What an age we live in!
But for some people, you like watching it live. There's something about being able to join in the excitement online with the community and react to things as it happens.
Yeah.
So again, we'll see how we are awake, if we are awake. But some interesting studios like 11-Bit Studios are going to be there. Larian Studios, who were linked with Baldur's Gate 3. So there's some great developers, even the guys behind Disco Elysium, taking part in this multi-day showcase. So that's the first one on the calendar this coming weekend.
Well, the first one is the PlayStation one, but let's...
Well, I meant...
It's a busy calendar week.
It is.
Now, although we are without a top-quality gaming PC, the PC Gaming Show is also this week, coming up on the 8th in Australia at 5 in the morning. Woo-hoo. So... not the best timing, but none of these things are for our side of the planet, it seems.
Busy weekend, definitely. First weekend of June, lots of gaming news to look forward to. And the good thing is a fair chunk of PC games still do make it onto some consoles. Yeah. So it's not always a waste of time. Like if you are a console gamer, you can still get excited for some potentially new gameplay footage or cinematic trailers, things like that. Yep.
The good thing is PC gaming shows usually fit into the whole E3 schedule. And they're usually underappreciated and less notable. But they are good to see games being actually played and experienced. And if you are a PC gamer, you've got even more to get out of this. But don't sleep on this. I think there may be some good things coming out of the PC gaming show this week.
A lot of passion projects usually linked with PC gaming, especially with so many indie developers just collaborating with the likes of Steam and Epic stores. there is a lot of very cool exclusive stuff that has been flourishing on that platform. So I'm excited to see what comes out of that.
Now, you mentioned Jeff Keighley's little project that started technically in May. It goes for months.
Yes.
So Keighley's going to be here. Our buddy Jeff Keighley, he's going to be around. We've owned him. We've owned him. Apparently.
We own a likeness of him in Death Stranding.
That's right. That's exactly the link that we're looking for. The Steam Game Festival is going to be technically part of Jeff Keighley's Summer Games Fest.
Yes.
And Steam itself has been on the back foot after years of dominance. The Epic Game Store has taken a large chunk of the pie.
They definitely have.
I'm very curious to see what Steam does during this June 9 through 14 to see if they can get the larger share of the pastry.
Yes, and this
back.
year they're teaming up with Microsoft, so they've got a bit of a heavy hitter in their corner.
It's chaos. Who would have thought the PC Civil War would be the great gaming event of the 2020s?
One to watch, that's for sure. So that's going on for several days, basically in Australia, between June 9th to the 14th. There's an Australian festival called Free Play, which happens around the same time. From June 10th to the 14th, it's an online exclusive festival, obviously, because, social distancing. Can't go in person and party.
Now, the thing that caught my eye about this one, there's going to be a lot fighting for attention. There's only so many hours in the day to watch these things.
Yeah.
But one thing that has caught my eye about Free Play, it's not going to be completely swept off my table because I am a sucker for full motion video games. I've mentioned this many times. You give me live people, real people in my games, filmed, I'm all about it. And we have a creator of the full motion video game Hours, Bahia Khan, is going to be doing the keynote address at Free Play. I'm interested to see what that is all about.
And since they're highlighting a lot of indies, think of Untitled Goose Game was an Australian indie.
Yeah, and what did that ever achieve last year? Nothing.
Except got given Game of the Year by its constituents.
Well, there you go.
So,
Don't
pretty
mock
impressive.
the goose.
Pretty impressive. There's a special night event from CD Projekt Red. This one is a big one. Put it on your calendar. June 12th for us. The time has not been specified exactly.
What's
so
Keanu up to? Can he make it? Because we're interested.
hopefully he makes a digital cameo. So, obviously, some more news about Cyberpunk 2077.
We will have to wait and see what happens there.
There's really not much info at this point, but another interesting factoid of June 12th, that's our due date. Official due date.
Asterisk.
Very few actually show up on that date, but at least we have something else we can look forward to.
Place your bets, folks. Put a contest on the Gaming Lovers podcast.
And on the same day, at least for us here in Australia, EA Play Live 2020. Yay!
We love EA, and we love what they've done with Anthem. And we can't wait for Anthem 2.0, which is currently in the works by EA.
And apparently they have plenty to talk about. Is it a really long apology?
Let's move on to Day of the Devs coming out June 23rd. There are so many video game events this month.
Yes.
I am so excited at all the new things that are going to be emerging
That you
from
can't
the
play.
depths. I was talking about the baby. And the video games as well. Day of the Devs. I don't only like video games. I enjoy the entire industry and the creative minds that are thrown about there.
So this is a tie-in with the Game Awards again. Jeff Keighley.
I love that Jeff Keighley.
He's got his fingers in a lot of pots.
He does indeed. And Double Fine Studios as well. Digital partnering event. We are looking at Day of the Devs.
You've got studios like Team 17, Sabotage Studio, The Behemoth, Tribute Games, That Game Company, and a lot of others that weren't even mentioned that are all contributing to this Day of the Devs.
Team 17, they are one of the great publishers of the current era's party games. Don't sleep on them. They made Worms back in the day. I bloody loved Worms. And they are responsible for publishing, not developing, but publishing or actually, forget what I even
Collaborating.
said, because they did co-develop one of the Overcooked games.
Yep.
They have published the Overcooked games, and also moving out was Team 17.
There you go.
So I'm looking forward. They could have a new. There could be Overcooked 3. Who knows? Day of the devs. You heard it here first, unless it's wrong. In which case, Jim, when you edit this podcast, just erase that line so I don't look like a fool if they don't do it.
Nope. Here's one you should be excited for, though, Brendo. June 24th at 1 a.m. At least it's not too hard to stay up that late. Sega New Game Plus Expo.
Now, a little known fact about me is that I am a fan of Sega and Sonic the Hedgehog. And there was originally supposed to be a reveal of their new Sonic the Hedgehog project, which the announcement had to be delayed because of the world situation.
Mm-hmm.
We could get information here. And they are saying, believe it or not, Sega are saying they are taking their time with the next Sonic game to ensure it hits the level of quality. Now, hopefully that is like a worldwide level of quality and not Sonic Team level of quality, because we've seen where that goes. But is it...
There's been occasional relatively recent titles that aren't trash.
Mm-hmm. The ones that weren't made by Sonic Team. We'll have to wait and see. Is it a Sonic Mania 2? Is it Sonic Generations 2? Is it Sonic Adventure 3? It could be anything.
Well,
and I've got my hopes up again. Look what you've done to me.
Sega is not just Sonic, though.
Yes.
As you should well remember from just that title screen when we were watching the movie earlier, that they're linked to things like the Yakuza. Not the actual Yakuza, but the game Yakuza.
Does that mean
it's... clarify that.
Are you telling me that Jet Set Radio 3 is a thing? It's Jet Set Radio 3, everyone! Get excited!
But they're also, at this particular expo, New Game Plus Expo, they're going to be collaborating with NIS America.
Hey, they are the ones who gave us the localizations of games like Danganronpa.
Yeah.
Trails was called Steel, I believe. They did at least one of them.
They've done a lot of JRPGs, so get excited.
Skies of Arcadia, you heard it here first. So many Sega franchises that need to be redone.
Now, there are a few more coming up, but as far as the month of June, that are all the official dates that I have.
Okay.
Right? But early July, Ubisoft, or Ubisoft, depending on who it is pronouncing it.
Well, it is French-Canadian, so it'd be Ubisoft. I don't know.
They are hosting Moving Forward July 13th. That'll be 5 a.m. for us. So they're...
What do they even have on the stove that's cooking? Anything? Nothing important.
Just Assassin's Creed Valhalla and Watch Dogs Legion. Just a couple of big titles that have both been delayed somewhat because of COVID-19.
Boy, I hope we get a gameplay reveal.
Another one in July. Another Xbox presentation from Microsoft.
I thought you were going to say Expo.
No.
Like you mispronounced
It's
Expo.
called Xbox 20/20 or just 2020.
Oh.
So they haven't given us an actual date as yet. They've just said July. There's going to be more information coming up about their new next-gen console, and that hopefully we get some more details with regards to new games that are coming out or a exclusive game launch title.
They have mentioned Halo Infinite will be shown here, and potentially gameplay footage. We know that means don't get your hopes up for gameplay footage, but it could happen, guys. It could happen. So get your hopes up.
For those that remember what the word actually means.
My goodness, there are so many events, and I'm sure there will be more that we have not even mentioned.
Yep.
That is a lot more spread out, and every couple of days there's going to be new little sprinkles of deliciousness. And if you are simply wading through the headlines that come out on your video game news websites, instead of sitting and watching the actual presentations, we are going to be flooded with new game information.
Hopefully plenty of fun trailers to watch as well. I think part of me is excited for this format of having, instead of just a weekend of being overdosed on gaming news, that is E3, as much as we love it.
Well, you and I do try to watch all the press conferences at E3, and that is a busy week.
It can be quite draining. having it in little drips and drabs might work in our favour. We can take more time to absorb news. Smaller titles, more indie developers might get a bit more attention and not be overlooked by bigger titles that people gravitate towards. So hopefully it is beneficial for them.
I'm looking forward to it.
Me too. So I hope you guys are looking forward to it as well, that there's lots of exciting things on the horizon for the gaming community. It's always good to have something fun and positive to look forward to. Speaking of which, we have to figure out what we're going to be playing this next week. Or at least trying to.
Lock it in, place it in stone, and smash the stone because plans change.
After this.
Share the love. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/The Gaming Lovers.
Okay, so what can I realistically get done today? Just in case.
So, with baby looming, could happen at any time. Our gaming goals may be a little more flexible than usual. We'll keep it a bit loosey-goosey.
Loosey-goosey.
And I do want to get more into Dark Souls 2 this week. It has been not quite drawing my attention. And I don't know if I've just lost a bit of interest in it.
Yeah.
Or if just life's circumstances have just kept me busy and,
Maybe a bit of both.
Maybe a bit of both. But I would like to go back to it when I have time. It probably won't be this week. It'll be next week or the week after and maybe next month. Who knows? August 2021. I'll get back to Dark Souls 2. But that's what I want to focus on. That's what I want to focus on. However, there is a little parcel that arrived unexpectedly. So I may have another gaming project in the works for the month of June. Let me get my fluorescent pink headband and my yoga pants on. We'll give you a full report next week of what that entails. What about yourself? What are you
I totally
going to
forgot about that, to be honest.
What are you going to be playing?
Not that.
No. Don't give it away. That's for next week.
Oh, my word. We have to include photos with that report. The Outer Worlds, I think, I'll try to make some progress story-wise. I feel like I could do, at the bare minimum, some side quests still on the giant ship that I'm on. Groundbreaker. Ideally, I'd like to get out of there and explore some more. But at this stage, whatever I'm able to get done, I'm just going to be happy that I managed to play for a little bit.
All right, let's just focus on the potential, right? The possible scenarios we have. I think I've heard once or twice that having babies is a little painful, but there's a lot of waiting in between. Hours and hours of just waiting for things to line up and get ready.
That depends on the person. If I'm anything like one of my sisters, it could not be as long as we think we have.
But if you do, what do you plan on playing in between agony?
I don't think I want to play something new because I want to be able to focus. And I would not be concentrating at all if I was playing the Outer Worlds and, in labour. So something familiar, I think I'd probably lean more towards just watching something familiar. But if I was going to play something kind of similar to what I did last week, Mass Effect 3, I could go and just dabble in that for a little bit and put the controller down anytime that I'm overwhelmed. I don't know.
That was the wrong answer completely. You need something that can be bite-sized and squeezed into these little short moments. It's What the Golf was the correct answer. What the Golf? It's the game that keeps on giving.
We could maybe take that into the hospital. At least it's portable.
In between pushes, just knock out 1 or 2 courses. It's fine.
Once we hit that stage, I would be throwing that thing across the room if you put it in front of me.
Well, know what the golf for you then.
Exactly.
Don't want broken
Know
game
your
equipment.
audience. And know when they want that out of their face.
I'm so nervous.
Anyways, What an exciting week ahead.
What an exciting week
Yes.
ahead. One way or another, we
Yeah.
have PlayStation games getting revealed. We have a
Yes.
potential new player arriving on the Gaming Lovers podcast.
Mm-hmm.
We have Brendo in tight clothing. All sorts of things to look forward to. Let's get to it. Let's get out there. Let's play some games
Yes.
while we still have time.
Thank you so much. Until next week, possibly.
Possibly.
Sayonara. Chelsea.
Thanks for listening to the Gaming Lovers podcast. For more episodes or to watch some live stream gaming, visit thegaminglovers.com.